This is the Shankly Sessions, the Liverpool podcast we bring you as part of the upper tier out there on YouTube. If you could smash that bell notification button, obviously subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video. We really appreciate your support. Growing all the time, really appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the content. This is your Liverpool versus Aston Villa preview. Coming a little bit earlier. I'm off work today, so I do an afternoon show. I like doing these afternoon shows and stuff like that. But big game coming up at the weekend, 3 o'clock Aston Villa. At the same time, United will be away at Bournemouth. Huge potential there in terms of the top four race. We're trying to keep it alive. Of course, a massive game on tonight at 7:30. Newcastle take on Brighton, and who knows, could Brighton do something there and really kick the top four race open? We are relying on other teams to slip up and other teams to do us a favour, but sure, that's the way it is. We had a really, really tough season. This is our last home game coming up. Final day of season away at St Mary's against Southampton, who are relegated. So that should be 3 points. But this Aston Villa game could be a tough one. Now, it's 2014 since Aston Villa left Anfield with 3 points. Gabby Agbonlahor getting the winner. So I don't expect anything to happen, and I don't want us to allow Villa to come in and spoil the going away party. So before we get into the preview, let's talk about the going away party. These four men confirmed to leave. Of course, it pulls on our heartstrings. The Bobby Firmino and James Milner are leaving. It's time for them to move on to pastures new. Of course, we have to try and evolve. We have to have a little bit of a rebuild during the summer and stuff like that and kick back into next season, come back much stronger than we have this season. Although in the last 2 months now, we've had a decent run of games. I think it's seven wins and 9 unbeaten in the last 9 games. 7 wins and 2 draws. Hopefully looking to make that 8. If we could. But if you look at these guys that are leaving there, Bobby, of course, who was an absolute legend at the club, along with James Milner. 2 fantastic pros who have served the club brilliantly. And we spoke about Bobby the other night, the send off he got at the Leicester game and stuff like that. The fans absolutely love him, and he's given us some unbelievable moments that we will cherish for a long, long time. And James, of course, who's been an absolute stalwart at the club, really great experienced player who's helped the youth come through and stuff like that and all, and has done outstanding work in the community and at Liverpool, and a fantastic footballer as well. What a pro James Milner has been. The other 2 boys, Ox is one I look back on at times. He has given us some great moments and stuff like that. He was so unlucky with that injury that time, and I just felt he never came back since that injury. He just hasn't been able to recapture that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain player that was there before the injury, where he was absolutely outstanding. So disappointing to see him bow out kind of like this. I would have liked him to be a bit more personally successful at Liverpool. Naby Keita is one that, it's such a strange one, isn't it? It's just, this guy just can't stay fit for one reason or another. Came in, has just kind of had the odd moment here or there, but just really hasn't fitted in. Never ever felt Naby Keita was really, really part of it, you know. So he'll bow out as well, and I'm sure there'll be more as well. But these 4 are going to be waving goodbye to Liverpool on Saturday, so it's going to be quite emotional to send off, especially for Bobby and James. Never easy when you lose players like this, but we have to free up that space and that financial situation to bring players in and evolve again and go again. So we wish them the best of luck wherever all 4 end up. And of course, as Liverpool fans, we always follow the careers of players that leave us anyway, so we'll watch for them wherever they go. But best of luck to both of them. But definitely after 90 minutes on Saturday, as long as we get the win, hopefully we might see a bit of Bobby, who knows, and James. Hopefully they'll get the send off. We'll be in a position to bring them on and give them that one farewell, especially from the Kop. Let's see what happens though, but we wish them the best. Now, came out today, nominations for Manager of the Season. Just thought I'd touch on a few bits here today as well before we get into the preview. And don't forget, join us tonight, folks, 9 o'clock Thursday, Tier Talk. Myself and Darren will be on your screens talking about the Champions League and Man City. We'll be talking about a Premier League preview, Beat the Bookie, all the latest news. all that kind of good fun stuff. So 9 o'clock tonight, Thursday tier talk. So who takes this? Who's your pick for manager of the season? Do you agree with the nominations? First of all, should someone else be in there potentially? And if not, if you agree with the 6 that have been nominated, who are you picking? I'm kind of leaning towards the Serbia Brighton. I think he's come in on the back of Graham Potter leaving for Chelsea, done an absolutely outstanding job. It was pretty much seamless. Has developed some really good players, has brought in some really good players, and has just done an outstanding job. Has a big game tonight against Newcastle. If he wins that game, we could see Brighton for the first time, I think, in their history playing European football, and their highest finish in the Premier League looks on the cards as well in the history of the club as well. I think their previous highest, I think, was 9th, but they're certainly going to knock that out of the park by the looks of things. So let us know who your nominations are. I mean, Eddie Howe has done a fabulous job at Newcastle. What a job he's done there. Pep would be the one who's normally nailed on, going to win the Premier League, could potentially win a treble. After guiding Man City into the Champions League final and all, but just the way they've played has just been absolutely outstanding. Would Arteta's job at Arsenal be enough for you potentially? Where he's brought Arsenal 2 from where they were. Have they developed enough? I know they fell short, obviously, in the title race. And look, that's what happens when you're up against City at times, you know. Emery, who did a fantastic job, came into Villa. They were at 16th. He's guided them to now about 7 or 8 and could bring them higher with a win at Anfield on Saturday. Marco Silva, who did a fantastic job at Fulham. They were absolutely flying high. Lost Mitrovic, obviously, because of the ban and stuff like that, and that kind of paid to their season somewhat. They fell away somewhat then after that, you know. But let us know your thoughts. Let us know who you think should be the manager of the season. Just another little news item that came out, obviously, of course. Ivan Toney banned for 8 months from taking part in any footballing activities at all. And also I read this morning as well that they're looking to extend that worldwide, so he can't go anywhere else to play football, even outside of the jurisdiction. Let me know your thoughts on this. Is this excessive? You know, how do you feel about this? So many other situations still unsolved. We know about the breaches at Man City and various other things and stuff like that. But this one, is 8 months very, very excessive? How do you feel about it? Especially at a time where you have so many betting sponsors and so much betting in our face has been promoted by the Premier League and by various teams and stuff like that. How do you feel about it? We know the rules are the rules, but 8 months to me seems huge. And this couldn't come at a worse time for Brentford when you think about it. Ivan Toney's in there doing unbelievable this season. Got the call up for the England team. You know, has had this ban hanging over him and all that kind of stuff. So how do you feel about it? Let me know your thoughts. I think it's excessive. But we'll see what happens. Maybe Brentford might look to move him on or something like that. Maybe some team might take a stab and pick him up. And a knockdown price and stuff like that. Brentford are clearly going to have to bring someone in to replace him. So there's a whole load of parameters there that might happen, but let us know your thoughts. Aces in the comments. How are you, Aces? Yeah, RIP superstar Billy Graham. Absolutely very sad. Some of his work was unbelievable. The man who inspired, when you think about it, Hulk Hogan and Jesse the Body Ventura and all these guys and stuff like that. And I remember back as a kid watching them on WWF television and stuff like that with Sean Mooney, and he came back in and got the hip replacement and he was climbing the mountain and all that. And some of his matches down in Florida and stuff like that, absolutely fantastic. Hall of Famer, the whole lots of RIP superstar Billy Graham. I know his health had been deteriorating. He was on a life support machine for a time, and they decided that it was time to let him go. So rest in peace, superstar Billy Graham. Sorry about that. Yeah, so good one, Aces. Thanks for that. So let's talk Liverpool. A little bit about Liverpool. Let's talk. Obviously, the Stars now have the new kit for next season. Let us know your thoughts on the new kit. I think it's kind of nice. I think there's a nice kind of finish to it. I like the white on the neck and the white on the sleeves, the accents. I think they look really, really nice. Um, just 1 second. But yeah, nice accents on the sleeves and on the neck and stuff like that. Now available in the stores. I wonder, are we going to be wearing it on Saturday? I would assume you normally wear it, don't you, for your last home game and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see if we're wearing it. Right, so let's get into this preview. Aston Villa on Saturday. Emery, a man who likes taking the scalps of big teams and stuff like that. But if you look at it at the moment, we're on a serious tear at the moment, and fantastic run at the moment. Their form is a little bit haphazard at the minute, losing to United when United were had a number of players missing. Really, really flat performance for them. Also losing to Wolves, which was a really, really poor performance. Then bouncing back with a big win against Spurs. Spurs getting a penalty at the end, which was absolutely shocking. But our form at the moment, last 6 games, 6 wins. Theirs is a draw, 3 wins and 2 losses. But back to winning ways last week. If you look at team news for Aston Villa at the moment, we'll take our team news first, I should say. Of course, we've already spoken about the send-offs that are going to happen. So that'll be quite emotional. You would think that we'd be fired up and pumped up and motivated, put in a year's performance, put the 3 points on the board, and you would think that we will win out the next 6 points as well, finish on 71. But will 71 be enough for the top 4 race? We'll know pretty soon at the weekend, plus the game tonight. But we'll hold out that hope that something can happen. I mean, would it be a shock if Brighton bet Newcastle tonight? Probably not. Brighton, fabulous team. Newcastle, very good at home, though, as well. Not easy to beat them. But they have had a bit of a wobble as of late, so we'll be definitely keeping an eye on that. Easters is back in. I wonder if they sell Kevin Keegan sideburns with you when you purchase that new kit. Yeah, absolutely. Good shout. Yeah, absolutely. I heard other fans as well, Acers, talking about they're concerned for buying it as well because it shades of Michael Owen and stuff like that. And also, yeah, interesting. In terms of team news, we know it's as it was. Thiago Alcantara out, Stefan Bieta, Joe Calvin Ramsey out. Darwin is also a doubt. We've seen it. He was out with a toe injury or something there the other day. Coutinho for Aston Villa looks like he could miss out on a reunion. He may or may not be there. Picked up an unspecified injury. Matty Cash is due to return. Like Matty Cash, real good footballer. He's potentially he was in the squad for the Tottenham game, so he'll be available. But not much else missing for them. So they've a reasonably fit squad, Aston Villa. If you look at our potential starting line, but go through Villa's first, actually. Villa, I think it's going to be Martinez, Young, Conce, Mings, Moreno, Ramsey, Kamara, Luis, McGinn, Buendia, and Watkins. That's where they're looking at their possible starting lineup. For us, I don't think much is going to change. I think the only change they might go with is they might put Diogo in from the start, Diogo Jota. Might go in from the start and maybe take Luis Diaz out. Luis Diaz the other night didn't have a great game by his standards and was very much off it. But Diogo might come in and start and then unleash Luis Diaz maybe after 60 minutes, put him in for the last 30 or something like that. Everything else has remained the same. Ali and Nets, you got Kanate, Van Dijk, Robbo, Trent in this new kind of inverted role. Go with Hendo, Fabinho, Curtis Jones. I'm thinking Jota, Gakpo, and Salah. And that should be more than enough to take care of Aston Villa, considering the form that we're in at the moment. So that's where I'm looking at in terms of line ups. If you look at a prediction, I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to Liverpool. And I also had a look at the odds. And if you look at the odds at the moment on it, heavily in favour of Liverpool. Liverpool are 2-5 on. The draw is just shy of 4-1, and Aston Villa are 11-2. But they will be still chasing down. Aston Villa still have their eye on a European spot at the moment, and 3 points against us at Anfield will greatly help that. We know how dangerous the likes of McGinn and all can be, very, very powerful and stuff like that. Buendia's run. Watkins is in real good form. Jacob Ramsey in the middle of the park, very, very strong as well. So we'll have to be careful of that. And of course, Ashley Young, ex-Man United, of course, bombing down those wings at times as well. We'll have to be really, really careful of, but we should have more than enough. Acers back in the comments. Newcastle will win last 2 home games. We shall see. Interesting. I don't know. Tonight could be a big one. Tonight could be a big one. Should be interesting. Um, so we shall see. I also picked out on Paddy Power. He had a nice bet there at 12-1. Liverpool to win each half, Mo Salah to score, and Liverpool to have the most corners in each half. Now we create a lot of corners, but that's 12-1. I think that's a nice little combination bet there. It's available on Paddy Powers at 12-1. So Liverpool to win each half, Mo Salah to score, and Liverpool to have the most corners in each half, I think is a tidy bet. But yeah, again, as I said, when you look at the table there, Aston Villa, just outside of the top 7 European spots there by goal difference against Tottenham. Tottenham absolutely shocking this season, an absolute free fall at the moment. So who would say Aston Villa would be coming to Anfield looking to pick up something? Brighton, it'll be interesting to see how they fare out. If they win tonight, they'll jump to 61 points and be in real strong position in terms of European places. So let's see what happens there as well. But it's all still to play for at the moment. City this weekend, I'm sure, will be crowned champions. And I suppose we have to take a moment. City, unbelievable last night. What a performance against Real Madrid. Made Real Madrid look so ordinary. Like 4-0. Didn't flatter them at all. It could have been 6 or 7. Looking really strong. And I suppose the point was made last night as well. When you think of the amount of football, we often talk about teams when they start to wilt away and stuff like that. We talk about the amount of football they've played this season. Just look at the amount of football Man City have played this season. And they're finishing stronger and stronger and stronger. They're so motivated and stuff like that. And it's hard to argue with them. Absolutely sensational last night. And it's a warning sign. It's a warning sign for Liverpool and all the other teams in the top 5 or top 6. You're going to have to go out. You're going to have to buy quality. You're going to have to spend a lot of money. But not only do you have to have an unbelievable starting 11, but you're also going to have an unbelievable bench. That you can't have that drop off when you're subbing players or players get injured, that you get that drop off. And that's it. They sent a warning sign last night, Man City did, I believe, to the Premier League, the other top 5 in the top 6, basically, to say, look, if you want to come at us, because otherwise we are in danger of Man City dominating the Premier League for the next decade. And that's a really scary thought. We often slag off the French league and stuff like that. We need to be so careful. Being in a title race all the way until 4 games to go or whatever it is and still losing out. They've won 5 out of the last 6. God knows how many Carabao Cups or in an FA Cup final. They're on the cusp of winning a Champions League. They're always kind of in and around it and stuff like that. Acers is in 23 days until City win the treble. Yeah, I think most people are thinking now. I mean, United fans, they're going to be hinged. They're going to be hedging their bets all on that FA Cup final. That's going to be huge. Absolutely massive. But yeah, this Man City side, scary, the levels that they're hitting at the moment. And when you think about it last night, look at how good they were last night. And look, Haaland, you know what I mean? They took Haaland off. Julian Alvarez comes on and scores. The swap outs and the bench is just incredible. And Liverpool, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, we all have a lot of work. Even Newcastle, we have so much work to do to catch up at the moment. United will be destroyed easily by City. We'll see. When you might have to dig deep to save your treble, as they say. Let's see what happens. But certainly the narrative will be written, that's for sure. But they were sensational last night during the final against Inter. Could Inter do something? Possibly. Will Inter do something? Not likely. I think just the way they've played this season, I think they've just laid down a marker and they've just had their name on it from a long way out. And it's going to be very difficult to stop them even going forward. So that's it, folks. That's your preview for the Aston Villa game. We know what the matchups are. We know how emotional it's going to be with those players leaving. Big shout out, of course, to Bobby Firmino, the memories he's given us, and James Milner. Sensational. Best of luck to Ox and Keita. Both men, I think, just fell way short of our expectation, unfortunately. And let's see who they bring in. As I said, folks, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification button, And of course, join us again later on tonight at 9 o'clock, where we bring you Thursday Tier Talk, Beat the Bookie, Premier League preview, Champions League review, all that good stuff, and any other news that's come out. H's with the last comment, wondering if Dazzler going to City Treble Parade. You can ask him later on tonight, no problem at all, he'll be here. Until next time, folks, an absolute pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your day. Catch you at 9 o'clock.